So, once you real quick.
Welcome, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good holiday season so far.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So
Good
we're gonna,
morning. Happy Tuesday.
we have the agenda here. So you want to open the meeting?
I think so. I don't know where to stand or where to go. So I'm hoping everyone online could hear us. And welcome and thank you for spending time with us. This is our, in 2024, we're going to start meeting in person every month in the big room because it gets a little confusing going back with the virtual and in person. So thank you those who are in the room and thank you who those are online. But moving forward in 2024, we'll be here every month and there won't be a virtual access. So we look forward to everybody being here. We got a lot of things to go over, a lot of processes, as you know. Chatham Business Association, second Tuesday of every month, brings information, contract opportunities. The goal is specifically for businesses to get involved, get engaged, know the players who are making the rules, get your certification and get ready. And we know that's a lot of hard work on a lot of you all's part. And we're grateful for you all letting us go on the journey with you. We are going to do the introductions. I think, I'm not sure if I should start virtually or, so I'll do it virtually first and then I'll do it in person. Okay. Does that make sense? So, Charles, help me out. Not you, Charles, you, Charles. Help me out to do the virtual so they could hear. So let me start with Terry. You want to unmute yourself and say hello? Can they hear me?
Yes, I can.
Terry, you want to unmute yourself and say hello? I'll come back. What about Chase? Can you unmute yourself and say hello? You sure they can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Let me do this. Can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Happy Tuesday.
I can hear you.
Your favorite diva. We have divas.
I hear you.
All right. I'm here. So let me go back. Eva, can you hear me? Can you unmute yourself and introduce yourself? Say your name, your business.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you referring to Eve Green?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Hi. Yeah, my name is Eve Green. I'm with the Chicago Department of Public Health. Recently met Melinda, who invited me to join this meeting. So I'm here to just kind of hear all of the activities that are going on in the Southeast area, because I'm also a member of Rotary Club Chicago Southeast and interested in doing some coordinating and collaborating with folks from the community area. Thank you for letting me speak.
Harry, can you hear? Can you unmute yourself?
Did you say Terry?
Yes.
Hi, how are you? Good morning, everyone. My name is Terry Evans. I own Ryland's Smokehouse, which includes Windy City Ribs and Whiskey, located right in the heart of the South Loop, a block from Wintrust, 2 blocks from McCormick. I also own Windy City Ribs at Navy Pier, and I own Dockside Delivery that delivers liquor, food, and groceries to the boating community. Good to be here this morning. And thank you, Sean, for the invitation.
Thank you for joining us. What about Valencia? Or Yolanda? I can't see, I'm sorry. Something Rehab Divas.
Great morning. Happy Tuesday. It's your favorite diva, everybody. I am Yolanda of Rehab Divas, a 360-degree construction company located right at 79th in Champlain.
Thank you. What about Miss Simone? Want to unmute, introduce yourself?
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name's Aaliyah, and Oliver is next to me. We're Guffey Con. We do power washing, pressure washing, and graffiti removal in the Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana area. Nice to be here.
Thank you. Delonte Greer? You want to?
Yes, hi, good morning, everyone. I'm a financial planner that focuses on tax advantage strategies. My main focus areas are working with small business owners, including Chick-fil-A owner operators, professional athletes, government officials, and physicians.
Okay, thank you.
Pleasure.
Michael Fleming?
Good morning, everybody. Michael Fleming. I am with Sodexo Magic, who I think you're going to hear from Charles here. And I represent our business development team, and I'm working on special projects, currently one with the University of Illinois, Chicago, on their current RFP process. So just happy to be here, and thank you for the invite, Melinda. Truly appreciate it.
Thank you for coming. Hickman? Hickman?
Good morning, everyone.
Let's see. Hi.
Yes, my name is Nahum Hickman, and I am the owner and proprietor of Signature Tax Services located at 611 East 75th Street in Chicago. And I primarily do business and personal taxes.
Thank you. Reginald Owens?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Reginald Owens, co-founder of Light Bright Publications, LLC. We are a published company that just launched our first book, The Love of Squirrel, and we also have signature Sync Pink motivational posters. We are located at 200 East 75th Street in Chicago, Illinois.
Thank you. Sharon Pincham?
Hi, Sharon Banks Pinchel. I am with State Senator L.G. Sims' office as his district coordinator for constituent services.
Please send our love to Senator Sims.
I will certainly do that.
Thank you, Sharon. Stephen Hall?
Hello, my name is Stephen Hall of PLS Services Corp. That stands for Power Washing, Landscaping, Snow Removal. We're located on 8445 South Chicago Avenue, and we specialize in commercial exterior maintenance, snow removal, landscaping, and tree removal.
Thank you. Terry Evans?
I just introduced myself.
Okay. Vanessa Talaferro?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Vanessa Talaferro of ADB Business Consulting, Inc., and also proud to be a SBA community navigator with the CBA. So I primarily assist small business owners and nonprofit leaders with finding access to capital resources, grants, procurement, those type of things. So good morning, everyone.
Morning. Hollander?
Great morning, everybody. My name is Ted Hollander. I'm a CPA here in Chicago. I'm also a member of 95th Street Business Association, one of your neighbors. My business is Complus Incorporated. We are professional controllers. We lead accounting departments for small companies. We look for companies that are too big for the owner to run with just a checkbook and too small to hire a full-time chief financial officer. The real job here is to enable a business owner to understand the business so he or she can run the business without feeling blindfolded. Again, my name is Ted Hollander. You always pay for good accounting one way or another, and Merry Christmas to everybody.
And I hope I have everybody online, and you won't hear us for a minute. The next person you're going to see is Charles Johnson. So if you just listen, and I'll let people in the room introduce themselves, starting with CBA's board of directors, starting with Sean.
All right, Carl Riley, Chase now. So I do government nonprofit lending.
And he stayed with us. And our other very important person, Shawana, you are a family member.
Shawana P.S. Sorry.
Devon.
Ranger, Vice President, Property Services.
And one of our newest member is Mr. Johnson, who you hear from later. And I'm Melinda Kelly, president. And starting this, we're gonna start on this side of the room. Charles and I are here, but he's spanning the camera. Let's start with Raider.
Adrian Mobley, president of Air and Wellness Safety Training. We do safety, fence installation, maintenance of traffic, and caulking.
Hi, I'm Sasha Ivy with Pink Heart Construction. We are female operating owned minority construction company.
Hello, I'm Andrew Sanders. I am the CEO and owner of Scope and Shred Fitness, Beverly Hills. It's where we deal with focal diabetes, high blood pressure, kidney disease. And we've been extremely great at guys needing help and assistance, please.
Good morning. My name is Tanya Johnson. I'm an associate with Illinois Solar for All, and we work with small and emerging businesses in the contracting and electrical industry. Really, anyone who's interested in working in the solar industry.
I'm gonna start back here, and then I'm gonna come back up to the table.
Excuse my voice, I have a little bit of a cold. My name is Alice Collins. I'm with Select Brands LLC. We manufacture and market our flagship brand, Mumbo Barbecue Sauce. It's been in Chicago originally for about 70 years. And Sugar, owner of Shrimp, family ran restaurant for 20 years on the South Side Shore.
Breakfast sponsored and property services.
Good morning, Lonnie Griffin, owner and CEO of Acclaim Collier Engineering and Project and Program Management firm.
Good morning, Finest Collier, Clay Collier.
Okay, I'm the wall now.
Ulysses. Good morning, Ulysses Lawson, and I'm a CEO of Step Above, Skill Shield Necessity Shop.
My name is Maurice Johnson. I'm the owner and president of Clarus Computer Systems. I resell technology, specifically new computers and cybersecurity products.
Hi, I'm Rachel Turner. Rosenet Media is my brand growth agency. I create websites, run identity, marketing campaigns. I also, I just lost the brand. I'm sorry. Help develop brand strategies. My website is rosenetmedia.com, and my primary clients are business owners not ready to offload marketing, but not quite ready to hire a full-time marketing person on their team.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Kim New, Community Liaison for the Cook County State's Attorney's Office.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Natalie Loma. I am President and CEO of Loma Brand. We create wedding dresses, evening gowns, tuxedos, and prom dresses.
Oh, good morning, everyone. Excuse me for having eating while talking. Which is going to get forward. I'm an insurance broker. I do life insurance and health insurance. I do a lot of Medicare. And also, I'm in the right space this morning with all of these business people. And that's the reason I'm here, to network.
Good morning. My name is Thel Davis Jr. I'm service connected, disabled, retired Marine Corps veteran. And I was in the restaurant and nightclub business for 19 years. I sold all of those. And now I'm here to get certified to get back into some other type of business, to have something to do.
Hi, my name is Sharon, and I is actually located on the north side, and I also am the founder of a new nonprofit called Community Wraparound Service to service women who have disabled children.
Larry Mix with FH Passion. We're a general contractor, construction manager, design builder based here in Chicago with several offices on the East Coast.
Alan Osinski with FH Passion. Anthony Beckel, at FH Passion, Director of Community Engagement and Outreach.
Great. So thank you all for coming. If I missed you on the line, just sign in and I definitely will mention you later again. As many mentioned, it's important that business owners that we meet regularly. It's important that you use Chatham Business Association as an organization as part of your back house. When you're doing businesses, there are challenges that are going to come your way. You got to be certified. There's different things you need to do. We don't want you spending a lot of time doing those when we can help you. The other thing is we have relationships with folks, such as FH Passion is here. As you know, they are part of the CTA Red Line Extension. They've been at different meetings, but the goal is for us to connect, us to form relationships, and for us to either through joint venture, teaming agreement, certifications, make it mutually beneficial and profitable for each other. I would be remiss if I didn't mention our wonderful staff who many of you meet either through the one-on-one consultations or will work with us moving forward. One of the things that's important today is VEP certification, as you're going to hear about this opportunity with the state of Illinois. So we can make sure that we can help you through that certification process as this opportunity is being presented to you. So I'm gonna ask the staff speaking with Jennifer to say hello, and Beverly and Charles.
Hi, Interim Executive Director here at Chatham Business Association. I know Shauna, I met with the business company, so many of you through all these different ways. And I want to say welcome again, and let's get together in 2024. Beverly?
Hi, everybody. I'm Beverly Holman. I'm the administrative assistant here at Chatham. I do the certifications, all of the registrations to receive grant funding, amongst other things. Thanks for joining us today.
And my son here, he doesn't want to be my son. He's my
Charles Edwards, IT Program Manager, Chatham Business Association.
Part of the reason that I love and respect him so much is that you can trust him. On the business side, as you know, there's a lot that goes on. There's a lot of, if people in charge of projects don't look for ways to engage us as businesses in the community, and let's face it, if you leave business communities out, you're leaving out the community, you're not going to ever improve the quality of life or change the neighborhood. So he has the ability, the capacity, and the heart to do it on a lot of different levels. So smart, and I always appreciate your partnership. I love you very much, and thank you for bringing this on.
I sit so they can see behind
You think-
Oh, okay, all right. Okay, here. So first off, I want to say thank you to Melinda and this organization. I'm a Chicago boy raised here, right here in the city on the south side. My grandparents used to go to a restaurant called Isola's every Saturday morning, and they would go to another restaurant called Army and Lou's for dinner. And at the heart of the matter, they spent their money in the community because they felt as though that if they shop where they live, they spent money with folks who would invest in them, that it builds strong community. And this organization is special to me. No matter what company I go to, and I'm looking for advice in terms of how I should navigate and figure out how to do business in a community, I come to Chatham Business Association first. So I want to give you your flowers, Melinda, for carrying on the legacy of this organization. Oh, yeah, wow. So I want to acknowledge that first, before we get down to the business, because at the end of the day, our communities don't thrive if we don't do good business. And then we don't do good business if we're not prepared. So what I'm going to talk about today, and not necessarily to this room, because clearly if you're here, I mean, you're prepared and you're willing to, and you want to do business. So it's more about access for this conversation and more about information for this conversation, but the spirit of what we should be doing as large organizations and folks who have influence and ability to drive opportunities is to be conscious about spreading the information when we have them. So I'll dial back again. My name is Charles Johnson. My former partners and co-workers are here. I used to work with these guys here at FH Passion. Before I went back to the company that I am leading now. I lead a company called Sodexo Magic. Anybody ever heard of a company called Sodexo? All right. So Sodexo is a $14-15 billion facility and food management company globally, 72 different countries, 6 continents. Back in 2006, we created what we normally call a joint venture with Urban Magic Johnson. So Urban Johnson is, who you guys know, Hall of Famer, basketball player, serial entrepreneur, philanthropic, a guy who loves community. And back in 2006, I was an employee of Sodexo and had this idea that if we partner with the right type of thought leader around developing sort of conscious go-to-market strategies that looked after community and did great work, that we can build an amazing company. That was back in 2006. So we launched this company, a joint venture, and I fast forward now today, we're about an $800 million company with more than 7,000 employees across the country. I have the pleasure of returning back to that company to lead it as president. And one of the most important things about our strategy in terms of what we do, I had a slide, but you don't have to. We don't have to share it at this point. I'll just talk to it. At the heart of the business that we're in today, we do facilities. Food managers, I can explain that to some folks. I've heard some people that's in the food space from retail brand perspective and own concepts. So from a food service standpoint, I'll explain to you an example. We do everything around food service for either hospital systems. So if you're at a Northwestern hospital and you're a patient, we do patient feeding. If you go into a retail concept in the concourse of a hospital, we'd operate that for the hospital. Inside of a hospital, we'll give you an example of a facility management, patient transport. You see people wheeling people around from the curb back to their room. Those are our employees, not necessarily the hospital employees. So they subcontract those services to companies like us. As a comparison, people know some of my competitors, Airmark companies. So we operate in the same space. From a food service standpoint, we do K-12, so we do school districts all across the country. Prestigious. Colleges, all of their food and their facilities management. So the Jackson States of the world, the Gramblin's of the world, the Edward Waters, Morgan States, Delaware State, all of those are current contracts that we operate. On the corporate side of the business, so my partner, not I, in Sodexo, you might be familiar with them here in Chicago. They do Shed Aquarium. So if you ever went and ate at Shed Aquarium or went to an event, those are not Shed Aquarium employees, those are Sodexo employees. So we're one of the largest companies behind the scenes that you don't see that do a lot of work. if you've traveled recently on the Eastern Shoreline and you stop at a Delta Sky Club, those are all of our employees, Sodexo Magic employees. So the food that you get at your Delta Sky Club member, that would be us, British Airways Sky Club, that would be us, and soon to be American Airlines along the Eastern Shoreline. So if you fly American, all of the food and the facility management there, you can see that would be that. That gives you a context of who we are. From a size standpoint, Sodexo has right about 125,000 employees in North America. Of those 125,000, 7,000 of them are Sodexo Magic. And I say that because every employee who gets a check, we say they're responsible for 3 other people. So if you multiply it at 125,000 people times 3, that's over 300,000 people in the United States that we're responsible for and doing a good job, and then allowing those workers to continue to have an opportunity to earn. Now, in addition to that, I think the most important thing sort of drives home for us, because I live here in Chicago, so I'm committed to owning Chicago. So when I say own Chicago, not in a negative way, but to create as much opportunity and do as much great work as we can as Sodexo and Sodexo Magic. So with that being stated, one of the most important things to me is supplier diversity. So while we are a majority minority owned company certified by the MNSDC, I'm very conscious and aware that all things all politics are political, are local, excuse me. So with that, I say, how do I engage more minority, more women-owned companies? And in the case of state contracts, BEP, everybody know what BEP is, Business Enterprise Program. So in particular, we are in the process of pursuing a contract opportunity for UIC, University of Illinois at Chicago. It's roughly somewhere around, just for number of purposes, around a $25 million or $22 million per year opportunity for a company. We are, I believe, one of 3 companies that are pursuing it. Our competitive advantage is that we intend to push the envelope on BVP participation. Our proposal was going in, I believe, and my colleague is on the line. I think we submit sometime this week. However, we intend to be there for a very, very long time. And while we are submitting with what we believe a very healthy BEP participation opportunity, we're going to be looking for more companies to partner with. So when you look at, and I encourage you to go to the state of Illinois website, look at the procurement activity around University of Illinois procurement activity, and look at all of the codes related to some of the services, and they range. You have everything from construction there to architecture. You have food service there. You have pest control. You have retail brands that are being certified. I'm actually proud to say we have a very aggressive BEP participation program that we're putting forth. One of the concepts, and I'm proud of it, when I look at sort of what we put together for the University of Illinois, like literally we've chosen to go with a hometown favorite brand on the campus. We're looking at putting the first Harold's Chicken on UIC's campus. Now, some people might look at it and say, I don't have anything. When I give this example, please know that I don't have anything against Chick-fil-A, because I'll do a ton of business today with Chick-fil-A. I personally do a lot of business with Chick-fil-A, and then I personally place Chick-fil-A in my portfolios on the campus. But when I look at Chicago, I say, well, why would I have Chick-fil-A there, the fried chicken option, when I have an African-American home operator of multiple stores with Harold's Chicken? So I'm saying, okay, why don't we put Harold's Chicken in? When I look at the coffee, I say, there's a ton of other local coffee brands that I could put there. Why do I have to necessarily put a Starbucks brew? So I personally look to customize every city that I go to. So when we're specifically talking about Chicago, I'm saying, be aware of all of the business opportunities that are there. From a captive audience, in our business, we call it captive audience. So people who are in the restaurant business and the construction business, you guys go after business sort of wherever it is. If I go after business with UIC, that means I have 5,000, 6,000 young people every day going there to do for their education, but they're gonna eat there every day. They're gonna buy bottled water. They're gonna buy coffee. They're gonna buy snacks and so forth. So what we've done is looked at our portfolio of offering of companies across Chicago and said, how do we do our very best to introduce those Chicago local brands to the business that we're looking to do business with. And then finally, I'll look at it and say, a lot of times us as a community, I say us as a community, meaning small business community, we always say, I have an access to capital problem. I always, in my mind, it's really not capital first, that's the problem. I think that when you have a good product, you have a access to customer problem. And if you can get to customers, you can get to the capital. Like, okay, so it's like, so I got my bankers here, right here. They're eating, but they're saying amen. Most of my bankers saying, I come and I say, hey, I'm operating and I have no customers and I'm a startup, but I need $500,000. You know, my credit is fair. I own my house, but I'm opening a restaurant. Can you give me $500,000? It's one thing. Oh, how many customers do you have today? I have none. But if I choose you and I put you on UIC's campus and I tell you I'm going to subsidize your build out, now all you have to do is come operate, and then they need a $250,000 startup, but they're going to be in front of 5,000 customers every day that have a track record for spending money, then the chances are a little bit better that you'll extend some credit to them. So that's not a capital problem, that's an access to customer problem. So as long as you have the ability, in my opinion, to have solid value proposition, point of difference, understand your business, now you have an opportunity to really get in the game. I'm not the only show in town. So I tell you, I'm Sodexo Magic, and I'll be the last first to tell you is, yeah, I want to do business with everybody who want to do business with me. I want you to go out and do business with me and my competitors. You know why? Because you can't survive with just me alone. I'll tell you, come to me first, so I'm gonna treat you best. So I'm gonna tell you how to run your business. I'm not gonna take advantage of you, but I'm saying just don't stay there. You know, go do business with whomever you can do business with to grow your business. And at the end of the day, I think that's the fair way. And I have a friend who lives here in Chicago. You guys may know him. He's my neighbor, Robert Blackwell. You might know Robert. Robert Blackwell. He always say, to solve our problems, just do business. But, you don't have to do anything else. Just do business. If you do business, I can make some money and I can take care of my own problems. What I say is, I'll just do business, but I just say, just be ready. So that when the opportunity comes, we can transact and we can do business. And then I'll end it by saying, you know, get your business structurally ready. Get your taxes filed so that you can get your certifications. Get all your certifications done. I see the gentleman there who was who offered the controller or the accounting services. You know, get your books in order so that you can compete. You know, at the end of the day, I just say be ready. There's a sea of opportunity, I believe, but there's a limited amount of people who are willing to do the heavy lift. And I think that's the part that I want to hammer home. Be ready when you come to me to do business, because we're at a point where I can't necessarily stop and say, well, let me help you with your certification. Although I want to do that. But in my heart, I want to stop and help everybody with the certification. That's why I partnered with Melinda. I called Melinda. I said, hey, I'm doing this outreach. Can you please come? Because when people are ready, I don't want them to miss an opportunity. Get them ready. So I know I'm not talking to this room, but this conversation has to go beyond this room. So as a representative of Sodexo Magic, I'm here to serve. I have a couple of my our partners and colleagues that are listening in, that are leading the process of submitting our proposal. You know, at the end of the day, I believe we're the best company. I intend to win. When we are successful, I intend to take as many capable and willing companies on the journey with us. So now your part of the work is to go back and look at the BEP site as it relates to the procurement. So you look at all the codes and all the services that you're looking for, so that when we solicit out to look for companies, we'll be ready. And my commitment is that when I'm going to look for them, I'm always coming here first. So I'm calling Melinda, I'm saying, okay, pest control. I think we were use a pest control company that's locally that we got out of CBA. And then there are a ton of other BEP companies that were looking to get certified that Melinda and her team has helped us, push to the end. So we'll continue to use you as a resource. Thank you again for this type of access. I'm willing to answer any questions that you guys may have.
So let's start with first giving him a round of applause. Just want to mention one thing about the certification process, no matter what it is, and I think I'm gonna have Tony and his team come up in a minute. You know what the point of these membership meetings, the point of us meeting every Tuesday is to learn about these opportunities, get support from each other, so that again, if it's not with this opportunity, if you're certified and things come up, you're already ready. Once opportunities come, if you're not going through this process of certification, and I'm gonna back up because I get a lot of pushback about certification. Why do we have to do it? Because it looks like mostly people of color has to do it. But the reality of it is that's the process at the moment. You really want to be ready to get that done. And you really want to elevate yourself to get out of the pool so that certification doesn't stifle you. You're not to be certified to stay there. You're supposed to get there, get with these companies, continue to hire, and then bring other folks who are going through the certification process to make it work for us. Particularly, we're working with this opportunity, the BEP process. If you're already certified, really it should connect. We're finding that it's having a little bit of problems, sometimes technology doing it, because the NACE codes that the city or DBE uses, the BEP process is a little different. And so we have to make sure that it translates over. So what that means is I have a company under the city of Chicago. I'm certified under 5 NACE codes. Under BEP, I'm only certified under 3. Because again, that is their process. The bottom line is, for me, it doesn't matter. I'm eligible and I'm here. That allows me to do the opportunity and expertise that I have. But again, we don't want you spending a lot of time on that. We want you to work with us to get it done. So having said that, let me open up the floor. If you have any questions for Charles, now's a good time to ask them.
Charles, you got Next Magic, you have the contract, and you're looking for people in certain opportunities, or what do you think is like 2 or 3 things that we could probably help the company that can kind of support you?
All right, so I want to be clear about it. For us, in Chicago, I'm looking to cultivate relationships so that I know who's here across a bunch of disciplines. So while we're specifically talking about UIC and the necessary BEP certification, we're submitting with a large group of BEP certified companies that Melinda helped us identify and that we've identified through the state. So that train is moving for year 1, year 2, year 3. However, I'm still continuing to look at refreshing that list because we have to refresh new concepts every couple of years. We need to have, if I got 1 pest control company, I need to have 2 or 3. The other piece is, I heard a gentleman at the end is a veteran. Like, we need more veteran certified entities. So depending upon the business, I know you were in the nightclub business, the restaurant business at one point in time, but I say, hey, figure out where you're going to land. If I'm just going off of memory. Is somebody about to say something? Don't worry about that. No, I thought one of my colleagues was going to chime in. Because on the veteran side, I think we have 1 or 2 players there, certified veteran-owned companies, but looking for more, veteran-owned companies, to do business with. So my question is, I don't want to limit, or put a category on, hey, you gotta be a retail brand, you gotta be a food concept. The BEP certified, architect that we're using is, JG Hispanic owned, company here, locally, and, we strategically chose them, for an array of different reasons, but they're a BEP certified company. We're gonna need a BEP certified contract. But we're gonna, and it's a pretty large job. So I would be saying, if you don't have the, and I'm not saying that you don't, let's say you don't have the bonding capacity to do the whole thing, I would be saying, go figure out who you want to team with. FH Passion or somebody. And you might want to, figure out who you want to do business with, as a BEP certified, company. So I don't want to limit and say, hey, these are the categories I'm looking at. I'm going to be tied to the hip. I'm closely connected to Melinda and this table. So I want to be able to look at a list of companies as opportunities come up, and I want them to be already be vetted. And I'm saying, okay, these guys are ready. Okay, let's go do business with them. So I don't want to just put it into a can of specifically the categories, where there is a robust list of services out there that we can.
Tony, come up with
that we can draw from.
Somebody can come up with. And as Charles mentioned, we bounce people off. So someone over does the graffiti removal. We want to make sure that if FH Passion is if they're awarded the red line extension, a group that they know about them. Even if they are not in the food industry, they've got catering, they've got events to do. We want them to come to this group to get the businesses. And one of the things we love about doing the certification, sort of know where you are. So what we can do is help in those conversations to say that if I put Andrew and Adrian together, they can work at the airport on this together, because Adrian has the expertise. She has this. He's new, but he has the expertise on health and things like that. It's really about teaming, joint venturing, because I'm gonna tell you something, the opportunities are very large. And while that's great in Illinois, it's also a challenge for us. So if you think that you can come in and you're ready and you do it, it's just not that easy. If you're working with government, there are things in the system that as a business community, we have to help them get out of our way so that we can do our business and that they can continue to run the government. But having said that, when you talk about different opportunities, can you all talk about some of the opportunities that we would be looking for on the business side and businesses should the red line extension be awarded to your joint venture too?
So good morning, everyone. Oh, I'm sorry. Good morning, everyone. I'm Anthony Beck. I know many of you in different areas of life. I come from a government political background. So just a few individuals that I work for, and I had the chance and was lucky enough to work for Mayor Lori Lightfoot, the County Commissioner Attorney Richard Boyden, who's a good friend of Melinda's, Congresswoman Robin Kelly. I was a staff for her. So I come from a government landscape. Some kind of way 2 years ago, a gentleman found me, and who's a mentor to me in this construction space, and his name is Charles Johnson. And so he brought me to FH Passion. And that's sort of along when he talks about reaching back. He did that, and he brought me into this space. FH Passion, we've been around for 100 years, Larry, something like that. The family has been around. But I think it's more important for these two gentlemen to speak in regards to their roles and their executive team here at Passion. So I'll start with Larry, who's a VP of Business Development at Passion, and then Alan O, who's an Assistant Vice President. I'll let them speak.
Yeah, well, yeah, like I said earlier, we're general contractor, construction manager, design builder. So all types of construction projects, and we do big projects, and we also do small projects that we are looking for, new, diverse, women-owned, minority-owned companies. We do $500 million jobs, but we also do $100,000 jobs. We got, a road and bridge division. We've got a building division, bridge up. We've got a small projects division called Preferred Projects that do a lot of municipal type jobs for the city of Chicago and the suburbs. So we're always looking for new contractors, big and small. Alan's involved with our air project. We're teamed up with Turner Construction and few minority partners on the JV out there. We're one of the construction managers out there for the next 10 years. We've had all kinds of outreaches. You want to explain?
Yeah, and so that's kind of on hold right now. There's not as much coming out currently, but that's not going to be forever as we wait for the city and CBA to kind of steer the ship. We'll be ready as a joint venture out there for a lot of new opportunities. So there's a lot of work coming out there, and I'll just add, Charles introduced me to two local Chicago companies, one an embroiderer and one a print shop. And so I've worked with those contractors as well as photographers. You know, all the passion jobs need to be photographed and final photography, video services. And so I contract a lot of that out at Passion, and I think we do probably close to $100,000 a year in that work on the FHP side. So that's from embroidery, print shop, printing and marketing materials, signage, and photos and videos. So I do that stuff at Passion as well. I'm with Charles, and I was born and raised in Chicago as well. It's giving back to Chicago and hiring Chicago people to do that work. So
Awesome.
And like Melinda's talked about, the red line extension. So we're one of the 3 teams competing for the CTA, and it will be bigger than the RPM. The red line purple modernization program is supposed to be roughly a $2 billion job, and it's going to go to one of 3 teams. So we're one, Walsh is the other company, and Kiewit's the third company. So we've had multiple outreach events. We're going to continue to have multiple outreach events. Prior to, we submit on that in March. We're teamed up with Jacobs Engineering as our lead design firm and a host of sub-consultants. Proposals, Millhouse and Bow are our joint venture partners on that red line extension team of ours. The proposal goes in March, and then depending on who gets the award, you know, we'll be looking for all kinds of contractors, and the 3-year project, I believe, in 5 years. So, so that's huge pursuit. We've been working on it for 2 years, you know. So we'll see what happens in March. We do a lot of work for Chicago Public Schools and PBC. So we're always looking for new contractors and vendors that want to do CPS work with us. We've been a CPS player since '94. It was one of our first job order contracts. If people are familiar with the word job order contracts, we started with them in '94. We've been working with the schools. We're one of the major players ever since. So a lot of city of Chicago work. We're doing more out in the suburbs. We're doing more out at the airports, and plenty of opportunity. We share our bid list, I believe, with CBA, correct? You get our bid list every week. What we're bidding, we have a website that has all the different plan rooms on it. We have contacts in there. We've had vendor form that has all of our estimator contacts and all of our different divisions on it, who to chase down, who to stay in contact with. What other, you got it.
yeah, nice job.
So thinking about certifications is this. These projects have a requirement legally. They gotta have a certification component. Sometimes you start with a team and you hope it works out. Sometimes it doesn't. For that goal, right? If you gotta have 26%, and I was planning on using Sean to do my electrical, and for some reason he got on another job. When it comes down to it, I've gotta hustle to get that part. So my point is, if you're already certified, I may not be able to be an electrical engineer, but I bet you I can get in front of them and sell myself that I can do this, I can help with this, I can design the room, I can set up the meetings. All of that, as long as they really utilize your business, is the goal. So never shut yourself out. It's all about being on some contract. Is what the bottom line is. When you're on a contract, to me, that's when you learn. That's when you really learn what to do. And the process is Adrian shaking her head, because she started out as a very small business. Now she's a prime at the airport, but it takes the tenacity that you have. It takes got to have a legal team. You got to have a banking relationship, and all of those will grow, as Charles mentioned, if we can get you the access first. So you all are very quiet group. Are you sure? No one has any questions. That's why we're going back into meeting in person. But I'm gonna come to the chat room. and one man.
I
But-
have a question.
Everybody in the room has one person. I'm coming to the chat to check.
And let me just be very clear. We have not been awarded the contract for the rail mentioned project. We have been shortlisted for the contract for the rail extension project. And if anyone has any questions or concerns or are interested or excited about that project and want to team up with us or work with us, I am leading up outreach and TV engagement for that project. So we've done a ton of work with Alan and Larry and our team already around that project. Just last week, I was at Dawson Tech talking about workforce opportunities with 100 students from CPS. How do we engage young people now for that project? We can ready for that project. And in closing, I'm quiet out this. I want to congratulate a friend of ours who's in the room who is opening up a fat burger right now. Work you're doing, and we're truly thankful for everything.
To the chat. Adrian, you has a question?
I have one question for Charles and one question for FH Passion. Charles, the work that you guys are doing, that you're talking about being ready, BEP ready, when are RFPs and when would that work be available to start bidding?
So for the job specifically for UIC, we're supposed to know whether or not who's gonna be in first quarter of next year. And then I'll have to come back, I'll give you the renovation schedule for the renovation work that are going to take place. But our architect of record is JDMA. And then we're just looking out once the design work is completely finished and we win the opportunity. We will come back and then we'll solicit out for contractors for the redevelopment of the space that we intend to operate. I'll come back to you on the schedule for that. But we'll know what position, whether or not we were successful right around the first quarter of 2023.
Okay.
And then my question for FH Passion is, do you guys have a concrete division?
We have a concrete division, correct. We started about 4 years ago, so that's called FHP Concrete. So we do a lot of horizontal concrete roads and bridges, and 4 years ago, we started a vertical. So we're doing high rise now. You know, we're the contractor out at the airport doing the parking garage at T5 as a subcontractor. We also have a deep foundation company subsidiary called Stelwood. They do a lot of caissons, piling, sheeting, slurry walls. So they'll work as a subcontractor with some of our competitors.
And also, Adrian, and to add on to that with Larry, if you drive down 79th Street right at Green and Halsted, you see two new big buildings going up part of Invest Southwest. That is, we did all the concrete work out there with Passion. Stuff on there.
The observation.
Correct.
Another question here. I'm coming, Terry. I see your hand up. Go ahead.
To work with Passion, do you have to be union or can you provide prevailing wages as a contractor?
Here in Chicago, we're union. We have other I'll call them regional offices. We're down in Atlanta, we're down in Texas, we're out in DC, we're in Columbus, Ohio. Some of those offices are open shop. But here in Chicago, we're a union contractor and we have to use all union subcontractors. That's part of the Chicago. So I know some small, and I know it's a catch-22 because it costs money to get in the unions. It's tough, and somehow we're hoping there's different agencies involved with these different developments that hopefully it's going to make it easier for small companies to get in the union. And I think they've got to do something because there's a shortage of tradesmen for sure. So we need more companies in the unions. We're union here in Chicago. Now we do some work for the United States Postal Service. We've been involved with them since I started back in '84. So there's a few jobs that we do here in Chicago that technically is prevailing wage, but there's not a lot of work that we do for the post office here in Chicago. But those jobs are technically, you could be prevailing wage and not but we get audited. We have union auditors in our offices, 3 times a year, going through our books and we get banged if they catch issues and not union workers.
You mentioned a veteran, like the desire to work with more veteran friends, the veteran-owned firm as well. I don't see a whole lot of opportunity outside the Illinois Tollway where there's really a lot of goals set. So are there other opportunities that you're aware of that
Yeah, so for certain, for UIC, the entire UIC system, there's a requirement of 30% or target goal at 30% BDP participation. So any work that's happening at Chattanooga, Urbana, any work that's happening at UIC, or which commonly known as Circle Campus here in the city, Springfield, Illinois, to my knowledge, all of those require that 30% target BDP, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, 6% veteran participation.
To add on one thing, the SBA is really recognizing that they aren't pushing it as much. They're looking at increasing not only the DBE goals, but the veteran goal. They're also looking at providing the veteran-owned businesses, working with private partners on bonding just specifically for that target group. Because the reality of it is, as part of this navigator, we meet with the leadership, and we think that people that serve their country should have, their spirit is they want to give you, the veterans, everything, but then actually doing it with the contract, increasing your goals and making it easier. They also are looking at the SBA loans that they have for veterans that have been turned down, how to figure out how do we work more to reverse those type of things. So we just have to keep pushing that conversation, because you're right, it's just not where it should be compared to where it needs to be.
I'm speaking as Charles Johnson, taking my company name. We also have to push the agenda some, because many times there are contractual opportunities, and prime contractors, we say prime, the big companies will say, well, we don't know where they are, we don't know if they exist, we're not sure of their capacity. So since they don't, state, Mr. Client, I tried my very best, but here's my number and I'm gonna ask for a waiver. Well, listen, part of our job and advocates like you guys to say, hey, wait a minute, you don't need a waiver because I got 3 companies for this. And so we got to do some of that data mining to see where the contracts are and where the opportunities are, and then pair them up with folks who are ready and put them in front of customers. And then you put them in front of customers, put them in front of the bank. And after we put them in front of the bank, then they can go buy houses. Hire other people and send their kids to college. Let's trickle down back to that thing. So let's not let idea of not being ready or them not being aware stop us from doing business, because I think there's a lot of opportunities that goes added us because companies are putting forth the effort and saying that we can't find them, or we don't know that they're there, or we don't carry the certification for whatever reason. So let's take those things off the table.
Yeah, one of the reasons all you all's participation, we're part of this SBA Community Navigator Program. The federal government said that we built up the database with so many businesses that they did not know existed, that caused them to look at the numbers and what they're doing. Because according to them, 1 out of 51 organizations around the world, we filled up the database the most with the businesses who are willing to do businesses. And by the fact that you're engaging and getting certified and all the things they asked us to do, they recognize that that number is there. So that's why it's so important to respond to RFPs, to respond to this, drive the numbers up. Because if they can go back to the city, and I definitely will go back with them and say, listen, they've got the businesses, but there's this gap here. We got the numbers that can make a difference. It's so important not to sit on the sidelines. So important. I don't care what business you're in, to get in the process, be engaged. Don't say it's not for you, I'm waiting for it to come. Those numbers helped a lot to start these conversations. Terry, I'm gonna let you, I saw you had your hand up, you've been patient. So go ahead, unmute yourself and ask your question.
Thanks, Melinda. Thank you for providing this platform, Charles. Thank you for the conversation as well. I've gone through a couple of these RFP bids over the last 18 months. And I will tell you that it is an exhausting process for a small business owner. It is costly, especially when you're trying to run your businesses while doing these RFPs. And I think that's one of the challenges that we face as really small business owners, trying to get involved with this, it can be overwhelming. And it also can be concerning because you're the small business in the room trying to do the joint venture and may not have necessarily the legal support, et cetera, that allows you to come to the table, really truly understanding what the contract explains and is involved with. So I like the fact, Charles, I thank you for your openness today, because I think an organization like Sodexo Magic can kind of eliminate some of those barriers and concerns with regards to the fact that it allows you to kind of be able to open the doors for small businesses that are trying this thing of joint venture and really haven't done it before. My question is this an opportunity for businesses that are exploring trying to get into a different city? You mentioned looking and seeking businesses that are currently in the city, like the airport, for example. I'm located in Chicago, so that would be a natural transition. But what if I'm looking to go to an Atlanta market or a Houston or Charlotte? Is that an opportunity to discuss, the expansion program if that's one of my goals as a business owner?
So I'll say this, I'm very, your company, you Windy City, right? So.
Yes,
Right.
I came to you guys for the Obama RFP. We actually made it to the second round against the big guys like Bon Appetit and two other large players. So I know we have the capacity to get it done, but we're a small business. I'm the only leadership role in my business because I can't get capital funding to hire additional people. So, this is where the challenge comes. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm talking over you.
With your product, and you have a good product. You can say that first. But
thank you.
Behind that, so if let's say you're in Chicago today and you're saying, and I'm a straight shooter, you're saying, well, can I go with you to Houston? Use that for example. Well, Houston, my first thing going to be is if I'm looking for a minority partner, I'm probably going to go to Turkey Leg Hut first.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Because they're burning up the streets in Houston. And I say that in order, for the most time, the brands that are placed in captive audiences, either in the airport, which I don't operate in the airport today, but when you start going into captive audiences, those are brands that have good recognition. So if you already have a store in Houston and you're performing well at the street level and you have a brand that drives that, then that makes sense. So like in Chicago, we chose Harrow's because Harrow's has a good name and they're sort of nationally known, and the kids know what it was, and they said, this is a brand that we want. We recognize this brand. So in short, when you start converting and flipping into what I call captive audience environment, you need to have a very strong presence at the street level or at the catering level already in that said city when you're talking about food services, so that you have a track record that says, oh, this brand is going to perform well. All of us, Sodexo, Aramark, Compass, if we're going to have a brand that, let's call it, that nobody knows, we have our own internal retail brands. So we have a Mexican brand, a Mexican food brand, we have a soul food brand, we have a burger concept, we have a coffee concept, and so forth. So I'm just giving you the insight to it. If and when you want to compete in a said city, go and own that city and build a brand presence, and then we can pull you in. For Chicago, you guys have a great reputation. So you should be looking at going into captive audience, college campuses, hospitals, developing a spec potentially for university systems or travel plazas or airports. So that makes sense. So I want to be clear and say, I don't want to say no, but I would say no with an asterisk.
Yeah.
If you are performing well in those sort of emerging markets, great, we can look at you. But if we're just going to take your brand that's Chicago centric and known, we'll probably go with a brand that's in that said city that has a deeper rooted connection to that city and at that particular place, if that makes sense to you.
Makes perfect sense. Thank you so much.
And Terry, that was one of the reasons why, as part of this navigator, we did this teaming agreement joint venture process. Because like, for instance, here in Illinois, as part of the certification process with the city of Chicago, they will give large corporations who got to meet these goals what they call diversity credits. So that means that you being certified here in Illinois, if Patchen takes you in another state and does work with you, when they go to bid here in Illinois, they have like monopoly dollar money to show if they gave you $100,000 contract, they can use that to win a bid against their competitors, even though the financial amount might be the same. Once you get in those states that you're doing, it's about developing a relationship, going to the turkey leg people, introducing yourself, saying, I'm already here with a company to start doing. And that's one of the things that we really focus on is it's really about relationships and using those certifications to build those relationships to look for opportunities. So Terry, let us be your think tank with that. And the RFP process, we know, I can tell you, I think our staff, the majority of our time is trying to help other businesses think what the next process is, or helping them, once they get into a contract with the city, get through the minutia and make sure you maintain your relationship with your contractor. When I say that, what I mean is that if you were to get a contract with FH Passion or anybody, you know, you want to make sure two things happen. At the end, the compliance, your certification counts, it's maintained and it's there. But in any business, people want a good relationship. They want to know you. And if it's difficult or it was a whole process and things that you're asking them to do that, you know, if your payroll isn't ready, if it's not certified, these things that we can help you with, it makes it a little more difficult for them to do the process. So please use organizations like ours. There's tons of us on the website, but I think with CBA, one of the things we stay so busy, but we do like to work with individual businesses because we find everybody has different talent based off the owner.
And one thing I want to go back, sister from Windy City still there? Oh, Terry, still there?
Yeah.
You won't be the first to try to do this. I always say, look at a case study. Not to say that you're the same thing, but look at the process. So there are two companies right now that all of my clients are calling me for, and they're forcing my hand to put them. Sister Slutty Vegan. So they're calling me and saying,
they good.
They're calling me saying, and they're about to open on Spelman's campus. So they're like, we want them because they built a brand presence outside of Atlanta. And then the other one is Slim and Husky, the pizza concept. Look them up.
What was the name of that? I didn't hear.
Slim, SLIM, and Husky.
Okay.
Slim and Husky. They're everybody's calling me now because they've created a phrase for themselves. They're a pizza concept out of conveyor pizza concept out of Tennessee for Tennessee State graduates. So everybody is calling for them because they're opening up stores in major markets and they have a sizzle or point of difference. So now my competitors being Airmark and Compass and Sodexo Magic, we're all now bringing Slim and Husky into the fold, putting them on college campus and the sister Slutty Vegan. We if it were not for her name, she would be an American Airlines.
Yeah.
Some of the large corporate folks is like, wait a minute, now I don't know if we can get this somebody different. But she's driving a tremendous amount of brand awareness. So I'm saying, look at their growth plan, and I'm not telling you what to do.
Yeah.
But you guys have a dynamic brand. You got some of the best baked wings in the city. So it's like look at how they created that precedent for rolling out in other markets, and now us as captive audience, all Asian hosts, all of the operators in the airport, they want those guys now. They're knocking on their door to put them in front of customers. And now they don't necessarily have a capital problem because they are in front of customers. They're driving the demand.
Love that. Thank you, Charles.
And if I can add on to Charles, we talk about relationships a lot, right? Melinda, I know you press upon this. I've been knowing you for a really long time when you're big on relationships. Millhouse and Boa had a relationship with us, right? Boa did a school with us.
Yep.
Right.
We did 95th Street.
We did 95th Street Millhouse. Then we did Jackson Park with them. Yeah. And now they're a joint venture on the Red Line Extension Project. So my point by saying that is on that particular situation, they went from making DVEs in certain situations
They outgrew those programs and now they're prime. And that doesn't necessarily happen in our communities in many times. Right? So now you're talking about two African-American companies, BOA, Millhouse, Passion, Jacobs, Ragnar and Benson. We're merging a marriage and situation together on a $4.6 billion project. Right? Then you add a young lady in the back like Lanye, who's going to be a part of our team in some sort of way, African-American, veteran owned, right? We're marrying that marriage and it's continuing to grow. I was in Dallas 2 weeks ago in the middle of a mall in an event. I mean, I never seen anything like this before. They were having a meeting next to a jewelry store with gold teeth. I mean, they were literally selling gold teeth and we were having this meeting. And I looked to my left and Nosa's there from BOA. I'm like, Nosa, what are you doing here? He's like, I'm here for the same reason you here. You're chasing work. Right? So I say all that to say there's a lot of work happening around the country. Right? And how do we continue to build those relationships? Larry has been doing this a very long time and is very astute and articulate and smart. Alan has been doing this a long time, very smart guy. And our team at Passion, we're looking. We talk about CPS work. We talk about Atlanta. We talk about Dallas. We talk about Tulsa. We talk about DC. We talk about Savannah. We talk about Atlanta. We talk about Indianapolis, Detroit. Those are all places where our offices are at. And so we're looking to marry those relationships together.
I just want to mention one thing about BOA. You know, when BOA first started and couldn't get a contract, we put in legislatively that a company who can, the city of Chicago identifies socially economic disadvantaged zip codes. So we put in an incentive as part of the MBE certification process that a company that can hire from those disadvantaged zip codes who use those same kind of diversity credits to bid. That allowed NOSA's first, BOA Construction's first bid, when he said, I would take from all these to win over a majority white owned company. He won the bid because the numbers were the same, but he got the diversity credits because that business couldn't deliver. And I'm telling you, it's not a Black business here that cannot get from those zip codes because that's what we're working with. So, you know, that's one of the things we pride ourselves on the certification. There's these different incentives and you've got to not only get certified, but you need a think tank to help you figure out how to maneuver. How do I take this one to leverage this one? And then your failures or your challenges help us go to legislatively push things on a city and council level to say, which is why, you know, when you talk to, when the CTA came to present, we had to start a small business initiative because at one point, $100,000 business doesn't need to compete with a $2 million business, and a larger business will go after small work to keep their people working and at loss. But we had to make sure we started separating that group. So it's not just race, gender, it has to do with capacity. We want, if you win this pool, we want you competing with each other, not competing with larger companies outside of your, you know, who's gonna can underbid you, they can take the loss. So the information you give us, when you go through the RFP process, when we go through it with you, the challenges you take, we take and feed them back to say, if you could, how can we legally look at removing this? Or can we add an incentive to these targeted group of folks to help them be successful to get through the program and build their capacity? Because I'm telling you, once you're at the table with these folks, businesses who want you there, there's not too much you can, if you're willing to do the work and you're ready, and we can't make it successful. Yes, someone said on here, we'll send the information to everybody register to the presenters as well as we're here. So feel free to ask us any questions. I think I got everything else in the chat. Let me see, wait, somebody said, are any social services, health providers here? We'll send that with the registration to see, did I get all the questions in there?
Yep.
I think I got them all. So please, first of all, join me in giving them a round of applause. Last, there's a couple of people came in. I just wanted them to introduce themselves and say what you hear and what you do. PJ, you all relax, speak up. Introduce yourselves.
in the grocery market cafes within the community. Our first one will soft open in February in Inglewood. We have cycle total on our next 3 locations after that. We grand open April 7th. I'm also the founding director of Green Table Talks, where we help the community and foodpreneurs create value-added products and consumer packaged goods, mostly farmers and food co-ops, urban growers, and farmers across the country. We have a database of over 2,000 farmers, nationwide, and some in Africa who we help, who we intend to be a distribution outlet. I'm also a partner in the trucking company that helps with the logistics, and I own a new company as well.
Thank you.
I'm Jackie Jackson. 7 locations, and my new baby, Fat Burger, which will be open in February. This is my business partners, Steve Langford.
Nice to hear you. Thank you, Jackie, for choosing chatting. And I saw some other folks come in.
Many, TJ's. Administrator for with Tina for community partners for Supervisor Mention. She's also the president of community partners for Black Farmers. And I also volunteer right now with on the midst and with the contractors to make sure that we get more Black contractors involved in construction. So I'm really glad to meet you guys from Passion. And that started for me. Miss T-Day, y'all.
But in Candace, and licensed stylist and licensed cosmetology educator. I'm working with my husband in nonprofit for education for women in cosmetology. Yeah, I did try to say something.
Tell you, we can do a lot with the talent in this room. Anybody came in late? And the final thing I do need to mention, I will invite you all. We are having a roundtable with Juliana Stratton. She's the Deputy Director for the state of Illinois, Lieutenant Governor, on the 19th here. I will send an invitation to especially those who are in the room. But we're going to talk about quite a few things. Obviously, on our side, it's all about the contracts. We are asking the questions on the state and federal and city level with the immigrants coming in. What are those contracts? Because I'm trying to figure out where the bids are. You know, a lot of folks in the room can do a lot of this stuff. And I need to, are they sole source? How do we get on the list? Because again, at Chatham, one of the things we do is bring up all the businesses that we know. So if they say you got it, we probably do have it. Obviously, we're going to get an update on the social equity work in terms of with the cannabis and the things that are going here. But more importantly, it's important that you be in the room so that you meet her, so that she knows who you are. And as we continue to talk, or I get to go to meetings, they really see the faces behind the folks I'm talking about. So that's December. I think it's the 9th. It's going to be here, but you'll all get an invitation. You have to respond to the invitation so that we can put your name on the list to come in. Okay. Jennifer, did I do everything?
Yeah, we got everything in. We're sending everything out. There'll be a survey that will be coming out, getting the feel for how you feel about meetings that we already scheduled for. Next meeting will be about contracts with the state. I think the agency's name beginning, but we'll get an email next week.
Okay, so there's a couple of you we need to stay after so we can start your assessment process. You should know who you are. If not, you should check with us before you leave. So we have a little bit of work to do before you leave here. And then of course we're here. So if there's nothing else, this meeting is adjourned. You want to
Yeah. Who's still?